amount of fun. Now grab your favorite liquid caffeine fix and buckle up. It's time to get this show on the road. Here's your host, Jason Schaller.
Good morning, Rogue Nation. Today is August 14th, and apparently it's Creamsicle Day. You know, that magic blend of frozen orange and vanilla that's supposed to cool you down on a hot day. But here's the thing. Just like political promises, creamsicles look solid until the heat hits. And then they melt into a sticky mess that you just can't get off your hands. So welcome to the morning drive where firearms, freedom, and a little bit of frustration collide. So it is a Thursday show, so we're going to kick things off with a Rogue Nation trivia. In what year did the U.S. government first require serial numbers on firearms manufactured for sale? Was it 1934, 1938, 1968, or 1975? So that answer will be at the end of the show. Let's kick some things off here. And while we're talking about sticky messes, well, we got a whole lot of sticky messes today on the show. The news this week is exactly that. It's sweet on the outside, but when you look closely, the center is already dripping down your arm. And we'll tease a little bit of the show today here. We're going to start off with a Quora roast. This one was fun. I enjoyed this one when I read it. We're also going to got a couple of wins and losses in the two-way world. We're going to talk a little bit about the redistricting stunt that California is trying to do that takes revenge politics to a whole new level. And, of course, the answer to the Rogue Nation trivia. So buckle up. This one's going to be part sugar, part salt, but it's going to be all heat. So the question I saw today was, okay, gun enthusiasts, you can keep your handguns, but why do you insist on having assault rifles? Aren't you aware that the majority of school shootings were done with assault rifles? So I love how this thing always comes back around. But first off, thank you, Mr. Internet Stranger, for your permission. This really warms my heart that you're okay with me keeping my handgun. The same way a toddler is okay with me having dessert before dinner. Spoiler alert, I didn't ask, and I sure as hell don't care. You can't tell me what I can and cannot have. Now that assault rifle thing, the same term that the media applies to everything from an AR-15 to a .22 squirrel gun that has a black stock, looks scary in low-res photos. You know what else really shares these cosmetic features without sharing function? A creamsicle and a traffic cone. Both orange, but only one's edible. So I love this whole thing. They keep on coming back to these mass shootings. It melts under heat faster than a popsicle that you're waving, right? I mean, in the heat in the middle of summer. The FBI data says handguns are the most common firearm used in mass shootings. Now, you notice how they switched the narrative around. They're trying to get the kids involved in, mass school shootings. But overall, handguns are, according to the FBI, the most common used firearms for mass shootings. But that stat doesn't sell ad space or ban all the things that are nasty and dangerous and look, like Darth Vader invented a gun. Excuse me. So if we just leave that in the sun, it'll just evaporate. So here's the real pivot. You can't cherry pick rights the way you pick flavors on an ice cream truck. You can't have, chocolate but no vanilla. That's not liberty. That's permission dressed up as, generosity. And once you accept that trade, the rest of your freedoms are now just one hot day away from melting right out of your hands. So don't fall for these stats. I mean, I was looking at the stats where everyone's like, hey, guns are the biggest casualty of children. But if you look carefully, they say under 17 are teenagers, right? So they go through this thing. So they like to say teenagers, but they conveniently leave off 18 and 19. They're still teenagers. Why? Because the stats don't work in their favor. They choose what to leave in and what to pull out to make the stats work. So let's get on to the news. We have a weekly roundup of freedom on the rocks and served up extra salty today. We talked a little bit about this for last week. The California ammo overturned. This was on August 9th. California's show your papers for every box of ammo law, well, it got smoked in the Ninth Circuit, and it's Freedom Week again. But here's the thing. It's getting ready to close, so buy it now. Definitely check out some ammo deals and stock up if you're in California. Washington concealed carry surge. Wow, this is kind of interesting to the liberals here, right? Washington thought making you get a permit to buy a gun would slow people down. Instead, carry permits are selling faster than Taylor Swift tickets. Congratulations, you just monetized civil rights. Connecticut gun maker liability. This one happened on August 7th. We're dipping a little bit far in the news back here, but hey, this one's a good one. Connecticut's letting you sue the gun maker if someone else commits a crime. Cool. I should sue Ford for every time a drunk driver cuts me off, and Hershey for every time someone gets, a cavity. Next thing we're going to say is the spoon made me fat. We got the Washington mag ban appeal. This one happened on August 8th. One small town gun shop is taking Washington's 10-round mag ban to the Supreme Court. The state's arguing no one needs more than 10 rounds because we all know that it's the 11th round that blows up the car in the movies, right? Yes, I did steal that from a guy that I worked with years ago. It was funny then. I still think it's funny now. He used to live in California, and they used to laugh at that all the time. But look, no one asked. Leave it alone. No more than 10 rounds. That's crap. I love how they keep on redefining what standard capacity is. The Florida Attorney General won't defend under 21 ban. This is August 12th. So this is just a few days ago. Florida's Attorney General looked at the long gun age restriction and said, yeah, hell no. Now gun control groups have to play defense without the ref, right? Popcorn? Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Fort Stewart shooting. This one happened August 6th. The Army trusts you with M4s overseas, but at home, nope. Apparently, you're safer unarmed on base. Yep, that's a good one. And if you really look at bases, we have all these trained professionals for firearms. There's no firearms anywhere. They're always locked up. It's kind of interesting. August 8th, we had the DOJ subpoenas the New York Attorney General. The Justice Department subpoenas New York's Attorney General over the NRA and Trump cases. This isn't, it's justice and politics. Or is it politics and justice? Honestly, at this point, the costume changes is just absolutely exhausting. So that's the quick headlines. Let's dive a little deeper. So California background check for ammo. The Ninth Circuit struck down the in-person background check requirement for every ammo purchase. The law added fees. Well, imagine that. California added taxes. Paperwork. Big surprise California did that. And wait times. Dangerous Freedom is out there on YouTube. And SIG leaned into the... sorry, I'm bringing this up here. And SIG leaned into the AW with the MCX line, so manufacturers aren't doing optics any favors. Yeah, they're not. So we got Freedom Week 2.0 out there in California, right? Look, they're trying to choke supply, not improve safety. We've talked about this several times on the show before. This is all delay tactics. It's not about safety. It's about chipping away wherever they can. They can't say they're infringing on your gun rights because they're leaving the gun alone, but they're going to dry up the supply. It's like kind of saying that, hey, look, you can still have your car, but you can't have the gas to put into it to drive it, so buy electric. Just wait until that happens. It's probably not far-fetched. Look, California's gonna refile this, right? I mean, let's face it. They're going to try again. So the pattern is pass an overreaching law, lose in court, repackage it, and reintroduce it. So this is how they normalize control, through repetition until fatigue sets in. I mean, this is the same thing like with elections. Some people were, they just wanted to keep, we didn't win, so let's re-elect, let's do this election over. They keep on wanting mulligans until finally they get the outcome. It doesn't work that way. Washington concealed, or the Washington permit surge. Look, there are 713,000 CPLs, and there's been 14,000 of them in 2025 alone. So good job, Washington, for getting their permits, for having to pay a tax to do what you should be allowed to do anyway by right. So look, this is proof that citizens need to jump through hoops to maintain rights. The danger of this is paying for permission to turn rights into privileges in public perception. The long term? We already have to do it for gun X, so why not for all guns? Rights should be exercised, not licensed. License is the first step to rationing. I've had this conversation with a few people in the past where we talk about concealed carry permits, where, why do I have to pay a tax on my right? And people are, concealed carry is not a right. Like, protection is a right. I'm sorry. So it is given to us in the Constitution, so why do I have to pay a tax on it? Washington Man, I hope you guys are paying attention out there. I know that Seattle is totally screwing up the rest of the state. I'm sorry, but keep fighting it. Connecticut gunmaker liability law takes effect in October. It's October 1st. Allows lawsuits if companies don't implement reasonable controls. Now, we always hear this reasonable, but it's never defined. So it can be interpreted as anything from security measures to preemptively refusing sales. Potential for manufacturers to be sued over crimes committed by third parties. And it creates a massive liability exposure, higher insurance premium, risk of companies leaving the market. I mean, this is what they're going to do. They're chipping away at multiple angles, right? So they're going to tax you on one side, and then they're going to tax you on the other. The tax is going to be because, well, we're going to sue you, and then that's going to raise the price because you can see the snowball here going, right? So they're going to attack the supply chain, and you don't have to pass a ban to dry up a market. So they're going to take this from law, and then they're going to let the civil side take away the guns. So pay attention to that one. That's a good one. Magman appeal in Washington. I love seeing these. So Gators Custom Guns is petitioning SCOTUS to overturn Washington's 10-round mag limit. If SCOTUS hears the case and sides with the shop, it could strike mag limits nationwide. If they lose, and let's face it, there was that whole Maryland one that got lost that gave the whole assault weapon bans some teeth. If they lose, this one could be bad, right? I think there's a lot of stuff going through the Supreme Court that they're not making decisions based on law. They're making decisions based on fear. So I'm afraid for this one because, mag capacity laws are framed as need debates. Dangerous precedent for rationing other rights. So if they can ration your ammo by round count, then they can ration anything, even speech. So down in Florida, the under 21 long gun ban, the AG down there says, well, the law banning sales to 18 to 20-year-olds is unconstitutional. Forces gun control groups to defend the law without state resources. So that's an interesting one to see. They can't rely on the state to enforce it if the AG just says, hey, screw you, I'm not doing it. This is potential case to reach SCOTUS for a strong pro-2A arguments. Now, I know there's a lot of feelings about the age limits. Look, this is what cracks me up. They want kids all the way down to 16 to vote because they're old enough to make decisions. But they're old enough and mature enough to make decisions to vote. But they're not old enough and mature enough to own a firearm until they're 21. But they're old enough and mature enough to raise their hand, take an oath, and die for their country at 18. You see how they keep changing this around? This can get pretty interesting pretty quick. I like to see more AGs strike down some of this stuff. Just say screw it. Now the Fort Stewart shooting. Look, man, shootings are bad. I'm not here to glorify anything that harms people. Really not. But military bases has strict bans on personal weapons in most circumstances. This incident reignites the debate over whether disarming trained soldiers makes sense. I mean, think about it. Technically, a military base is a gun-free zone. So the military base, if this can happen on a military base with military personnel, are our military bases really secure? Think about it. I know of one place where the guards don't carry around in the chamber. Got it on their hip. There's not around in the chamber. Just saying. DOJ subpoenas New York AG. The DOJ released subpoenas tied to Trump and the NRA, raises questions about the use of legal authority for political purposes, sets a precedent for, well, weaponized justice. Once normalized, it can target anyone. And let's face it, the DOJ in New York was definitely lawfare. They went after Trump. They went after the NRA. What could they go after next? So the integrity of the justice system is like a frozen core. Once it melts, it's gone, right? It's all over your hands in a sticky mess. So, political opponents are using the courts to cripple opposition. So here's the melt test. If in every one of these stories, there's a surface layer that looks sweet, common sense law, reasonable control, just a temporary measure, whatever they push it as. It's under pressure, the real intent shows. Just like the California ammo ban, right? I mean, the real intent is to dry up the market and cost you money and make so many things in your way so you can't buy it. So just like a creamsicle, once your rights start melting, you can't put them back together. That's why the core, your skills, your independence, your mindset has to stay frozen no matter how hot it gets. You need to make a stand. So if you've been listening so far, you've probably noticed freedom doesn't get ripped away in one bite. It melts slow enough that you think you still got time. A rule here, a policy there, and a reasonable measure that sounds fine until the stick's bare and you're left wondering, where did my creamsicle go? That's why the Rogue Nation doesn't wait until the cones empty to act. We fight while there's still something solid to hold on to. There's a couple of ways you can help keep the core frozen. Number one, go to trb.fyi/boombucks and toss some change in the fight. Look, this movement doesn't run on algorithm scrapes. It runs on people who give a damn. And the people that would rather invest in freedom rather than watch it drip away. Now, I know that times are tight. You can also support us for free by going to trb.fyi/az before you go to Amazon. And a small portion of your purchase will come back to the channel. It won't cost you 1 penny more. It helps me bring you content. You can also stock up on ammo. Go to trb.fyi/a2, and that will get you actually $20 of free ammo when you sign up with Ammo Squared. It's an ammo savings account. Take a little bit of money out of your checking account every month and, well, put it into ammo. They invest in ammo. Look, I do this every month. It's great. I love the service. You're going to love it too. Every dollar you spend using the affiliates that we have, Ammo Squared, Boom Lube, Aegis Gun Care, Gideon Optics, Go. trb.fyi/go, trb.fyi/boomlube, trb.fyi/a2. Every dollar you spend helps us bring you content. We can also save you some money. Use checkout code BOOMLUBE, save some money on Aegis Gun Care, and TRB10 for Gideon Optics. So we have the WTF segment here. California has decided that, well, if the heat's on, we might as well throw the whole creamsicle in the sun and call it progress. Governor Gavin Gelato Newsom just announced Revenge redistricting. A mid-cycle map redraw specifically designed to melt away the 5 GOP-held U.S. House seats. Why? Because Texas pulled some aggressive gerrymandering moves, and California wants to prove that they can go full popsicle apocalypse in response. Look, this isn't about fair representation. This is about political ice cream fights. Texas took a bite out of their cone, so California is throwing theirs onto the pavement just to make a point. Here's the part that should make every voter, well, just pissed off. California already has voter-approved independent redistricting commissions, right? This was the pride of their freezer section. This is the thing that was supposed to keep political hands off the ice cream bars. Now they're bypassing it completely. The legislature gets to redraw the lines themselves in a special process that just happens to hand their party an extra scoop or two. Look, this whole precedent for redistricting is getting old. It's driving me nuts, and it should drive you nuts too. Just leave this crap alone. So here's the deal. Once the map starts melting, don't stand around hoping that the stick gets, magically holds together. This is how you end up barefoot in July, standing in a puddle, wondering why the dog is eating your lunch. Freeze the current map. Go to your state's official website, pull up your congressional district map, and screenshot it. Print it, save it on your phone, stick it on the fridge, whatever. That's your before photo. The minute they start, adjusting the lines, you'll see exactly what they've changed and who's suddenly supposed to represent you. That's the baseline. You can tell that the flavor hasn't changed in a while, or maybe it just did. You got to know your base so you know what to measure against. Hey, we got a bunch of people popping in here. We got Warsaw Patriot. The hypocrisy is hilarious when Illinois Dems are guilty of gerrymandering, especially J.B. Pritzker. Yes, absolutely. Chicago is no better. And it's so funny they're bitching about this. They're actually worse. So you see their map, and they got this like scorpion tail thing going on. Yeah, that was a nasty one. So step 2, watch the freezer door. So we already got the map. So once the map starts, changing, it changes with a, let's face it, boring political hearing. A technical adjustment meeting. Or, it's just a minor committee review. These are designed to keep normal people from paying attention. But that's exactly where the scoop happens. You don't have to watch every second. You just know that when they're having these meetings, skim the agendas, pay attention to who's pushing changes, and see what you're, see your map. This is not the time for Netflix. And step 3, work your local cooler. When the state level freezer starts to thaw, your county commissioners, school boards, city council members, whatever you have, show up there, speak up, and remember, local officials are the ones that you can actually corner in a grocery store. If they know you're watching, they're less likely to screw with your rights. And step 4, just this once becomes every summer, right? Just for now, never pay attention for just for now. So here's the bottom line. Your map is your recipe for representation. Once they start swapping the ingredients without asking, the final product isn't yours anymore. So freeze it, guard it, and be ready to refreeze it on your terms. So we're wrapping up here, Rogue Nation. Thank you so much for sticking around. We We started today with a creamsicle, sweet, harmless, nostalgic. But let's face it, everything melts in the sun. You'll eat it fast enough we got to eat it fast enough to keep it all together. But here's the truth: once the melt starts, there's no putting it back into the wrapper. We have a video drop tomorrow. The channel supporters are watching that now. It's training month, and we have a training video. So definitely check out tomorrow, noon Mountain Time, on the channels for that video release. We are going to be taking a couple of weeks off of this show here, the morning drive, because I have some stuff I need to take care of. But we will be back after the holiday. So definitely pay attention to what's going on while we're gone. Leave some comments down for what you think you are paying attention to. And of course, the answer to the trivia is 1968 is the year that the U.S. government first required serial numbers on all firearms manufactured for sale. Sound familiar? Kind of like there was a law, CGA. Just saying, they put a lot of crap into that. So while we're away, make sure you train, build, reclaim. You're not alone. You're part of the Rogue Nation.